Alright guys and gals, I'm here to talk about Wetterling's large hunter's axe, Granfer's small forest axe. I certainly don't get the opportunity to compare these axes head to head very often, but right now I do, so I wanted to share some thoughts. It's not a one's better than the other, they're both great. I think the GB's a little bit more expensive than the Wetterlings, but all in all, both of them are fine tools, and my point with this video was only to share with you my thoughts, since I'm able to compare them both so closely. They're both 19.5 inches. I believe the Wetterlings is listed as a 20H. I don't know how the Granfer's nomenclature works, but nonetheless, it's a 20-inch axe. Both of them are. And one of the things that struck me when I first was able to compare them is that the Granfer's looks larger, but if the Wetterlings weighs 2 pounds, let's see, 2 pounds and 4 ounces. The Granfer's weighs 2 pounds 1 ounce. I noticed I wanted to look up to make sure I had the nomenclature for the axes proper, and the one that struck me in particular was the Granfer's, and this was on Amazon, but it had it listed as 3 pounds, but it's nowhere near 3 pounds. 2 pounds and 1 ounce, 2 pounds and 4 ounces, I believe is what it is. But if you look at the head profile, the Granfer's looks larger, but obviously the Wetterlings has more mass. So that's what got me looking at it closer. And if you look at the Granfer's axe, and then look at the Wetterling's axe, you can see that the Wetterling's cheeks are thicker, obviously thicker. Also, the pole of the Wetterling's axe is deeper, so there's a little bit more metal to the Wetterlings. To say one is better than the other, I certainly can't. And one thing that I did do was, one thing that I've always liked about the Wetterling's axe is the deeper grind. But I wanted to measure it, so I did. Let's see if And what I was looking at is, I really figured that the Granfer's bevel versus the Wetterling's bevel, well, if you measure them, this one's like 2/10 of an inch at the top of the bevel, and the Wetterling's is say 2.5 to 3/10. So this one, although the grind would give you the impression that it's thinner, it's really not. The Granfer's is thinner. I will say that I'm posting a picture at the start of the thread, and it shows them both on a large stump that I have in my yard where I take pictures. And that stump's only about 2 months old, so it's very green and it's oak. But the Wetterling's actually stuck in it better than the Granfer's does. Unscientific, but it surprised me because it's actually thinner here than it is here. But that's just my 2 cents. The fit and finish of both axes is as good as the axe gets, I suppose. There's nothing. This one has been used a lot more. This is my personal user, and it's you know, it's a little darker, but still the grain orientation of both handles is superb. The Gransfors is actually a little straighter on the top. I'm not sure you'll be able to see it, but I mean, but that's, you know, picking nits. So both of them are very sharp. Of course, I've worked on mine a little bit, but not a lot. I really haven't. I've only used it for real chopping maybe 4 or 5 times since I've had it. But, of course, the Gransfors is plenty sharp. Both of them are. I don't really have a whole lot more to add. I don't want to, like I say, this isn't a one's better than the other, but I just wanted to, while I had both of them here, to be able to compare them side by side, to point out the differences, and they are slight. Both of them are great. Both of them would be fine. There's no way that I could say that, hey, you know, buy this one or buy that one because it's better, because that's just, it can't be true. A tool is what you make out of it. But both of them would be great. I don't believe you could go wrong no matter which one you bought. And I think it's getting to the point where they're not really that much difference in price. The GB may be $110, $115, but I believe the Wetterlings is probably pushing $95, $90, somewhere around there nowadays. But I just wanted to share with you what I see as the differences. And like I say, I can't use them live tonight. I don't have that much time, but they sure are great axes, and I don't think you could go wrong with either one of them. But they are different. Thanks for looking.